Story 1. My father is a hillbilly boomer, and he has money. He's worked hard his entire life saving and investing well. I love him even though I disagree with him on many subjects. My daughter has recently started her transition. This has made my father very angry to the point where he no longer contributes to her education. He's always helped all of his grandkids with college. He's not college educated himself, and he thinks a college degree is the greatest contributor to your future. When my daughter told me what she felt and would do, I supported her. I also told her that she needed to start looking into a cheaper living situation, come home and go to college in the state to finish her degree. I told her that she should probably avoid my father. She said that all her friends were at school, and that she needed her apartment because her mental health would suffer, living in dorms or with roommates. She said that her grandfather loves her, and that she doesn't need my help since she has him. My dad loves her since she's his oldest grandchild and was named after him, but she should be careful with her choice. She said that I was trying to control her and change her mind. I wasn't. I fully support her, but I cannot afford an apartment in the city where she is studying. She came to my father's house for Christmas dinner in her new persona. It did not go well. My father kicked her out. We left with her. I told my dad he needed to accept that she was his granddaughter. He will not. He immediately canceled the money he was sending her. He stated that he's changing his will, leaving her $1, and splitting her inheritance between all his normal grandchildren. I tried talking to him about it, but he was adamant. I spoke with my brother about it. I thought maybe we could provide a united front. He said he wouldn't put his kid's future at risk to help her. My daughter is freaking out. I had enough money to give her rent for January and February. After that, I'm tapped. She has this semester covered, and I know we can get her some financial aid if we need it. I'm about to retire. At least that was the plan. This has thrown me for a loop. I may need to continue working to help her finish school. She says that I need to be more supportive, and that I should cut off my dad from seeing me or my other 2 kids to force him to change his mind. I know my dad, and that will not work. I reminded her that I told her that changes might occur because of her decision, and that those consequences cannot fall entirely on me. She says that I'm manipulating her. I'm trying my best in a situation I don't really understand. Am I the idiot, or am I telling my daughter that she made her choices and now has to live with the consequences? Sigh, not the idiot, but your daughter is frankly incredibly naive at best and idiotic at worst. People don't change to being sweet, kind, and accepting people just because they want to be so, especially if they're older. This kind of change, you hide until your financial needs are no longer something the grandparent can hold over you. I know she's hurting, but she walked headlong into this situation, and the results are predictable. I agree, but damn, hiding her true self is of course an option, but it's an impossible choice. I can't even imagine how hard that would be, and how it might affect her mental health. The absolute idiot here is the grandfather. If he can't accept who his family members are, it's on him. I don't care how old he is, he should be old enough to know better. I disagree with you. You are free to choose, but not to alter the consequences of your decisions. Honestly, your daughter reeks of entitlement. I can't live with roommates or in a dorm because I'll be depressed. Yeah, you and probably 90% of everyone else. This is crap everyone that goes to college deals with, and her expecting you to cover her high standard of living is insane. I cannot imagine complaining about having my housing paid for. What kind of priorities are these? Oof, the daughter needs to grow up and see that her mother just can't afford it. She needs to learn to make wise financial choices, and if that means moving in with her mom and going to college locally, so be it. Unfortunately, your father is the way he is, but you can't change that. You warned your daughter that she would most likely have to change her lifestyle when he pulled his money, and know that the time has come. You're not manipulating her, she's trying to manipulate you. I, 30 female, have a sister, 20, named Jessica. We both had a child a few years ago, and they are 3 days apart. I had an excellent job at a college, and so did my husband. During my son's bar at first Christmas, we ensured he had everything. My sister saw my Facebook post and began yelling at me, saying that I was rubbing everything in her face and that she couldn't afford to get anything for her son, Peter. My parents are well off, but they told my sister that they would support only her and not the child and would only be grandparents and nothing more. She refused to go after the father for child support because she loved him, but he already had 3 children by the time she had Peter. I just told her I worked for everything I had, and if she'd waited, this could have been her life too. She posted a Facebook post about how she has no help, but instead of getting support, the bullies at her school told her she shouldn't have had intimacy, so she just deleted the post. 2 years later, we were both pregnant again. She once again had a child by a deadbeat. He was a married 40-year-old. Her parents tried to press charges, but she wouldn't give them any information because he kept promising her that he would eventually leave his wife for her once she turned 18. This never happened. That year, Christmas came around and she called my phone, screaming that our parents wouldn't give her any money for gifts and that they only got her children 2 gifts apiece. I told her they were doing the job of grandparents. She called me a witch and then hung up. Fast forward to now, every year we take 2 vacations, one out of the country and one to a different state. Peter began asking about the trips because we sent my parents a picture and they hung it on the fridge. Jessica told him that he would come with us this year without asking me. I would be happy to, but Jessica tells her son untrue things about my family, so her son bullies my son because he thinks my son stole his life. I told Jessica that wouldn't happen and asked her why she thinks she's so entitled. She broke down crying and right in front of me told Peter I don't like him, and that's why he can't come. Peter called me a witch. My parents were also in the room and asked where a young child his age learned that language. Instead of disciplining her son, my sister said I was being a witch and that I should have adopted her son when I saw her struggling all those years ago. This happened a week ago, and we're on vacation now. My sister kept calling me, and I finally had enough. I told her if she didn't go around having intimacy with the whole school, she could have had this life and to stop calling me unless it was an emergency. Since she's been posting on Facebook, my parents told me not to worry about her. But as a big sister, I feel bad that I could have done more. Your sister is an idiot, but there's something wrong with your parents. She got pregnant as a young teen to a deadbeat who already has or had 3 kids. 2 years later, she was pregnant to another deadbeat, and there were no criminal charges, and your parents didn't do anything. Why were the parents not parenting? File the charges, even today is not too late. Child support is there for a reason, to support the child's financial needs. Yeah, that's what got me too. Op is blaming her sister for her parents' failures. Op, what the heck were your parents doing besides neglecting a teenager? Her life choices now will have nothing to do with you, but as a sister and her parents, you guys should have guided her when she got pregnant the first time. I understand you might have your own problems with the birth and pregnancy of your own child, but your parents could have done much better. My husband has a twin son, Abel, and a young teen daughter, Destiny. And honestly, both of the kids are great. I love them so much. But things are bad lately. I was diagnosed with PPD 3 months ago, a week after giving birth to my daughter. We have Destiny and Abel every other week, and given my husband's custody and divorce court order, the kids are homeschooled. Their mom is a strict Catholic, and so a judge agreed to the order that a Catholic teacher would come into the home 5 days a week to school them, meaning I have a nun at my home every other week for 6 hours a day. They stay in the den, and the house is big enough that I don't hear it. My issue is that I haven't had a second to breathe for the past 3, almost 4 months, when the kids were here. They want to be near the baby at every waking minute that they can be. If I'm holding the baby, they hold on to the back of my shirt and talk to the baby while I hold her. If I'm sitting on the couch with her, they sit on the floor in front of me. They literally fight over who gets to hold the baby when I go to the bathroom, pushing each other. If I say no one is holding the baby and stick her in a swing, the kids push each other to get in front of the swing to talk to the baby. It's always a fight, multiple times a day. So if they aren't literally being stepped on by me, because they are quite literally holding onto my clothing to talk to the baby, and essentially preventing me from moving while doing so. Then they are fighting and pushing each other directly beside me to get the chance to get to the baby before the other one does. Also, if I try to get the baby down for a nap, both immediately start whining, telling me she doesn't need a nap. I've sat down with all of them, husband included, and told them they need to back off and give explanations on why. I've even tried putting together a schedule for the kids, and nothing works. I've cried to my husband about it, and told him I was so tapped out that I wanted to jump ship, and begged him to get his kids in line. He always hugs me and says he's sorry, and that the kids are just excited, and it will probably tone down soon. But there are never any changes. And like I say, I snapped today. Sister Kathy had to leave for a family emergency early, and my daughter is sick. She has a cold, and I've been having to use the bulb syringe and steam bathrooms just to get her to breathe properly. I was lying on my bed, and I'd just gotten the baby to sleep when Destiny came in and laid on my legs. Literally. She ends up waking the baby in the process, and seeing that she woke her up, she immediately starts asking to hold her. I said no at least 3 times, gave explanations on why she's sick. Well, during this, my daughter started struggling to breathe again. I could hear the snot rattling, so I told Destiny to please move so I could grab the bulb syringe from the bassinet. She didn't move, didn't acknowledge me, just kept trying to talk to the baby. I told her firmly get out of my way. She still didn't acknowledge me, so I screamed at her to get the heck out of my way. I screamed. It wasn't calm. I throw her after. She immediately got up and rushed out of the room. I grabbed the bulb syringe and started working on my daughter's nose. I'm crying at this point in full frustration. And of course my yelling drew a crowd. My husband and his kids stood at the doorway watching me. My stepdaughter is crying and holding her dad's arm. He told the kids to go, and he came in and told me I was out of line cussing at his daughter like that, and said I clearly need more therapy. I calmly told him to pack his and his kids' stuff and get out of my house, and that they needed to stay gone for a while. I told him I needed space, without harassment, and said that I was reconsidering staying in this marriage. He says that breaking vows over kids being excited about a baby shows my true colors. I don't regret screaming at her. Am I the idiot? They're obsessed with the baby as they aren't socializing in a school environment. Not the idiot, and their dad needs to step in and entertain them to give you space if they're not finding a more permanent solution until you've recovered. That's what I think too. They aren't getting enough stimulation socially or otherwise. Kids need that, and I'm surprised they're not leaving the house more often for field trips with Sister Diana. Is that right? Or going to social and sporting events for homeschooled kids. They also maybe wouldn't fight as much if they weren't around each other 24/7 and had other friends besides each other. This is sad for all of the kids involved and up. She probably feels so alone. Dad needs to step up and put them in an actual school. This is disgraceful. Period. What was he doing while his postpartum wife tirelessly cared for a sick infant? He certainly isn't watching his other 2 children, that's for sure. I don't want to cast stones, but he thinks his wife needs to carry the whole maternal burden, including caring for his other 2 kids, like a good godly woman, so that he can attend to his manly duties uninterrupted. What a hypocrite. My 20-male girlfriend 22, and I have been dating for 2 years. Words can't describe how much I love her. She's awesome. Every day I feel lucky she decided to be with me. And the best part is that she told me she feels the same. We're even talking about moving in together. I'm in a really good place right now. My dad, stepmom, stepbrother 21 and his girlfriend 21, stepsisters 27 and teen, and I were going to the mall today. I invited my girlfriend, but she said she was busy. She wasn't busy, she wanted to surprise me, and she coordinated with my older stepsister. So my stepsister told me to turn around, and I saw her walking over. I ran over, pulled her into a hug and kissed her. I was happy. It wasn't like I was in a sour mood and moping around all day. I was just happier because my girlfriend was with me. I had my arm around her the whole time we were there. Later, my stepbrother's girlfriend pulled him aside in the parking lot. It seemed like they were arguing, and she walked away afterward. My stepbrother walked up to me and asked if I was happy. I asked what he meant, and according to him, I made his girlfriend dump him. Apparently, she said she wanted someone to love her the way I loved my girlfriend. He was convinced I was purposely acting how I was to break them up. Everyone else heard what was going on and came over. My stepbrother explained his side, which was pretty much just him saying my girlfriend, and I made his girlfriend dump him. And before we could defend ourselves, my stepmom started ranting at us. My dad stuck up for us, and pretty soon everyone was arguing. My girlfriend and I left, and we went back to her place. I just got a long text from my stepmom that's basically just her saying I should stop acting so obsessed with my girlfriend, and that I was a major idiot for ruining my stepbrother's relationship. I can't speak to how his relationship was before I introduced them to my girlfriend. All I know is they've been dating for 4 years, technically 5, but they broke up for a year and got back together. I haven't been around them enough to know that. My stepbrother lives with my dad and stepmom, and I live with my mom. I was only acting how I normally act with my girlfriend. I love her so much, and I think I should be allowed to hug her in public. Am I the idiot for loving my girlfriend too much? Not the idiot. I love how his conclusion was you love your girlfriend too much, not that he loved his girlfriend too little. What's next? Don't hug your kids in front of my kids, they'll get weird ideas about parental affection. I guess it's easier to blame somebody than to take any accountability.
Yeah, wow, you mean a 21-year-old whose mommy still rushes in to coddle his tantrums. Isn't that the hottest catch in town? Dude, your stepbrother's relationship was already circling the drain. She was gonna dump him anyway. She needed the last straw. You're good, bro. Be happy. Agreed. Your stepbrother sounds like a low-effort boyfriend. One of those guys who does the minimum in his relationship, yet expects that his minimum effort, like remembering to take out the trash, should be met with a parade. And if his girlfriend complains about his low effort, she's a spoiled princess.
Don't lose that energy and enthusiasm that you have to treat your girlfriend in such a loving manner. It is such a beautiful gift. Thank you for watching.